evening, hockey fans, and welcome back into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Well, we hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, ate tons of turkey, stuffing, anything else that you could get on your plate in front of you. But it is time to get back into it. The calendar has rolled over to December, and we have some teams that are starting to make their marks in the NHL. The Colorado Avalanche being chief among them. We will be talking all things going on there in Colorado. We'll be skating around the rest of the NHL, getting you caught up there. But we're not just going to be looking at the NHL tonight. The Winter Olympics are only a couple months away, but there is trouble brewing in Italy for Olympic hockey. We will get into that, get you caught up there. We'll dive into the rankings in the NCAA, and the PWHL has officially dropped the puck on its season. Very early goings there, but we'll take a look at the standings, and they've got some games going on tonight as well. One game in action there. So a lot to get through and only 1 hour to do it. So strap it on in, buckle it up, dive on in. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go. And hello and good evening, hockey fans, young, old, new to the game, old hat at it. Welcome on in. You have found your way into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yes, sir.
He is Freddie B.
What is up?
Karnik. How are you doing, Freddie?
I am doing great, Adam. And it's, man, I hope you had a great holiday, Thanksgiving. Here it was quiet at home. You know, it was kind of simple that way, and I liked it. I just don't like no hockey games on that Thursday, though. We get the 3 NFL games, but give me some hockey.
Hey, well, it was it was wild before that. You had 15 games the day before Thanksgiving, and then you had 15 the day after. Whoa! A crazy schedule, but then nothing the day of. I honestly don't mind the no hockey the day of. I have the last several years. I have taken over the duties of preparing the food.
Sure.
So my day is in the kitchen. I got started.
Yeah, I know.
I got started at 8:00 in the morning, and I finally got to sit down and watch some of the football. I think the third quarter of the second game was finally when I got to sit down and do anything. So I don't mind that so much. It's one less thing I have to keep track of.
Right.
But
yeah, no. We had a week off last week. A lot of stuff happened in that week that we were going to talk about. I'm glad we're back now, and so much more news this week. Every single week, like we've mentioned, Adam, is just incredible in this new era of the NHL. I don't know what to call it. It's the most exciting. We've said it before. There's so much parity that whoever is writing the script, it's a perfect story right now because there's just drama unfolding. And the news is writing itself by the play on the ice. It's incredible this year.
It is bizarre this season. Absolutely. And it's really, we're enough into the season now where you can start to recognize trends. It's not, oh, well, this is a fluky start, or, oh, that's just a bizarro thing. No, you're absolutely seeing trends at this point. We should say before we go any further that this show is, of course, sponsored by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on the whole other planet. Be sure to check them out at planetjerky.net to place your order. They're still offering free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. And we also want to shout out Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. We thank them for sponsoring the show. You can also follow along with the station on your favorite social media platforms. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are, of course, on YouTube, where some of you are watching the show. Anybody that's watching after the fact, not on Wednesday night, that's the only place you can catch us. You can, if you're watching live, you can catch us on YouTube, on Twitch, or on Twitter. So we want to say hello to everybody watching live and to everybody that is getting ready to watch later on in the week. You can.
My wife and daughter have it on right now in the living room as we speak.
Nice.
They love watching the live broadcast. It's great.
Well, hello in the living room. You can follow IE anywhere on your social media feeds. We are at IE Sports Radio. This show is also available for you on Twitter. I've got to get better about using it more than I do, at IESR Neutral Zone on Twitter. You can also follow me personally. I am at Adam_Karnik on Twitter. Freddie, what is your Twitter handle again?
Mine is Freddie _B25 at Freddie B_25. Yeah.
There we go. So thank you. I
try to post on there. I try to post a live link right as we're going live. So I know I don't have many followers, but the ones that I do have, I encourage them to watch the show, and anybody who likes hockey, and they can just start spreading the word, because I think we put on a pretty good show, Adam, and definitely have a lot to talk about this evening.
We do. We got a lot to get through. Let's start off real quick. Let's whip around on some of the scores tonight. Not as full of a dance card, if you will, as we've had in some Wednesdays past. Just 5 NHL games tonight, and we've got one PWHL game going on tonight, so not a ton of scores. We can see it. Freddie's got it going on behind him there on the TV. We've got the Stars and the Devils. The Stars having their way with New Jersey, 3-0 right now. 9 minutes and change left to go in that one. Mikko Rantanen with a goal, Jason Robertson, and Miro Heikinson.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's Dallas, man, and they just came back because they did lose to the Rangers last night in extra time. So this is a big bounce back win for the Stars, who are, if not the second hottest team in the league, other than Colorado right now.
I like that. We've got elsewhere up in Canada. We've got an all Canada game tonight. The Winnipeg Jets currently leading the Montreal Canadiens 2-1. That's a lot of time left in that one. Still 7 minutes and change left in the second period in that one. So still plenty of time. Currently Kyle Connor with the go-ahead goal for the Jets. Slavoski, a power play goal for the Canadians, their lone tally. Late in the second, down in Philadelphia, the Flyers putting again whooping on the Sabres. It is 5-2 Philadelphia, and the Flyers are on a power play. They're already up 5-2. They've already converted twice on the power play tonight. A third opportunity awaits the Flyers there. And then elsewhere tonight, out in Anaheim, closer to your neck of the woods.
Yep, I'm going to be tuning in for this one for sure.
We've got the Utah Mammoth taking on the Anaheim Ducks, the red-hot Anaheim Ducks, even with their loss in Chicago over the weekend. That one, the puck will be dropping on that one probably just about the time we get off the air, along with up in San Jose.
I'm going to have that one on split screen. Those are two phenomenal games. As soon as I jump off the air here, I'm going to get a quick bite to eat, and I'm planting my butt watching those two games because my eyes are going to be going so fast watching the puck move across the screen with those two teams playing.
Macklin Celebrini is having a season to remember for anybody, let alone a 19-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
He is on. What did I see the other night? He is on pace for 121 points.
Yeah,
which would top Sid Crosby's age 19 season.
I know. I know. It's incredible what he's doing. Speaking of Crosby, he's on his way. He's on pace for over 50 goals this year at age 38, which is just insane. Back to touch on Celebrini real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If that comes down, and we could talk about it, we do bring up the Olympics, but if it comes down and one of either him or Bedard is the sole member they take, I mean, hopefully it doesn't deflate the other one to the point where, it could be damaging. I hope they both go, because I want to see Team Canada use both of these guys, because they are so dynamic, and for them to play, both need a chance to play and potentially win a gold medal with Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid on your team. That could be the only time it happens for those guys. So I think they should both make it.
I would love to. I have thoughts on that. I have opinions on what I think is going to end up happening and what I'd like to see happen, but we'll tease that for a little bit later in the shows. We do have some Olympic hockey that we're going to have to be discussing a little bit later on. Our one other game that's going on tonight of note over in the PWHL, and we'll get into them a little bit more. We've got Vancouver taking on Boston, and the Fleet are currently up 2-0 in that one with 7:40 left to go in the third. Boston is absolutely manhandling the Golden Eyes in this too. Not only is it 2-0, the Fleet are out shooting Vancouver 30-15.
Wow.
And they are seven and a half left to go in the third.
Vancouver is an expansion team, so you can't get too hard on them right now for the beatdown, but I don't know if there's as much parity in the women's league as there is in the NHL right now, but
and we can get into this a little bit more when we talk some PWHL a little bit later tonight. You remember when Vegas entered the league and how Vegas was able to get so good so fast, mainly because there was frankly just collusion going on between all the general managers of, hey, if you take this guy, we'll make this guy available. If you take on this contract and this bad money, and there were way too many good players that became available.
Yeah, that was a one-time thing, and Vegas has been so good since then too, which is I can't stand, but
it was not that dissimilar in the PWHL with their expansion stuff this year. So we can get into that a little bit as we talk some PWHL a little bit later on in the show. But we are looking at right now, the Fleet are up 2-0 late in that one. Vancouver still searching for its first victory in franchise history there in that one. Very, very, very well, I should say regulation win. Vancouver did secure an overtime win in its first game against Seattle.
Nice.
So looking for its first regulation win, I should say. As we'll get into that a little bit more later on. But so that's it. Just the 6 games going on tonight, and of those, 2 of them have yet to start. So let's dive in. Let's talk some NHL, and let's start.
Yes, please.
Let's straight out the gate. Let's dive in with the Colorado Avalanche, because these guys, we have seen some starts. We have absolutely seen some red hot starts throughout the year. I can remember the Blackhawks about 12 years ago or so having a start where they just flat out didn't lose game. They didn't lose in regulation for a long time. We've seen some other good starts from teams. This Colorado team is absurd.
Yeah, they're better, and I think they're going to beat the all-time record, better than the Bruins team of a couple of years ago that set all the NHL records for points in a season and wins in a season. I think it was. Nothing's stopping, and you don't want to be in the way of an Avalanche when one is coming. And right now they are just burying everybody outside of the, a freak loss in extra time against Minnesota, they still only have one regulation loss on the season. It's incredible what they're doing. Nathan McKinnon leading the league in points, 46 right now. He can get 150, 160 points at the kind of pace that he's putting on right now. That's incredible. And then you have Scott Wedgwood, who is third in the league for goalies right now, stat-wise as well, with a 2.03 goals against average. But bad news for Colorado. He did get hurt and was removed from the game last night. I haven't heard the extent on Wedgwood's injury. So hopefully that could, throw a little wrench into the equation or something like that can maybe disrail this Avalanche team. What do you think?
Well, and Wedgwood wasn't even supposed to be the primary guy at the start of the season too. So you never want to see somebody get hurt, and you never want to take anything for granted. But when the guy who was supposed to be your backup at the start of the season is having the season he is, that's gravy. We're right after Thanksgiving. We can still make the food analogies here. At least I'm going to. That's surplus. That's just the cherry on top when your backup goalie is able to do things like that for you. You'll just, okay, we'll take it. We'll run with it, whatever we get. But I'm not going to be. You never want to see a good player go down, especially somebody that's having a career year.
I'm gonna see if I can. I didn't see the extent of what the injury was, but that he had to be removed from the game. I knew it couldn't have been a good thing, and I hope maybe it was just precautionary. But he goes down with a groin or something like that. That could be pretty devastating in a long, term injury, a long time to recover from those kind of things. We saw that here in LA. Jonathan Quick would always get those groin injuries, being so flexible, but and then he'd be out for long periods of time. So hopefully that's not the case with Wedgwood, because if you're going to give the MVP of the league to somebody, you're probably going to give it to Nathan McKinnon right now. But Scott Wedgwood is making a perfect case for being the MVP, I think, of the Colorado Avalanche team as a whole.
Yeah. And you brought it up. He is third in the NHL in goals against average, 2.07. That's absurd. One of the only guys in front of him we're going to talk about here in just a second, and we'll get into that. But Wedgwood has got, he's been their primary guy for so much of the start of the season too. So all those, I'm pulling it up right now. How many starts does Wedgwood have and the season already too? That makes it so much more impressive. 19 games played already this season for Wedgwood. That makes it, to me, so much more impressive. And it's not like, he's just not seeing any shots. He's saving 92% of the shots. He's having pucks come at him, and he's just not letting them by. He is just not letting them past him.
Yeah, I don't see any news as far as his injury goes, but now the number one goalie is back in I'm assuming going to play the next game or two here in Mackenzie Blackwood. So, Colorado, you got maybe the best goalie tandem in the league right now. You've got the top scoring forward, and then you also have the best defenseman in the league. That's the complete package, and the only team that's going to hurt Colorado is going to be themselves. I think they can continue. They are this dominant, and we've talked about it before, Adam, that they still haven't figured out the power play.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scariest part.
Exactly.
They could do that. Geez, they only scored 3 last night against Vancouver. I was a little, bummed out. I thought they were going to put up 6 or something like that. But no, Colorado is on a roll. And that division too, you've got the Stars and the Wild, who are playing just as hot of hockey, but are not making up any ground.
No,
that's crazy.
It's impossible. And the other crazy thing too, not that I think that they're necessarily going to need a whole lot of tiebreakers when you're, 19-1-6 in your first 26 games, but all 19 of their wins have come in either regulation or overtime.
Overtime,
They're 0-3 in shootouts. That's your best bet for beating Colorado.
Yeah,
is
every
surviving
win
to a shootout.
Absolutely. That you brought up a great point. That's the number one factor in determining tiebreaker is wins in regulation and overtime. Those wins in shootouts could be harmful, although they'll get you the points. If you win the game, you'll get 2 points. But that determining factor in Colorado right now, every single win, regulation or overtime.
Yeah. So you're not even
Crazy.
like, oh well, if we can catch up, maybe we can. No. If you can catch up, great. But you're not getting. They're not giving you anything. Nothing easy.
No.
Nothing easy is coming there. Yeah, they do right now. They have a 5-point lead on Dallas, and they have a 5-point lead on Dallas. They have a 9-point lead on Minnesota, and they have a game in hand on both of those teams.
And that's crazy. They have a 9-point lead, like you said, on Minnesota, and Minnesota is 11-1-2 in their last 14 games. That doesn't compute. I mean, Minnesota, you thought would be making up a lot of ground, but like I said, they've faltered one loss, and they've lost points to Colorado in that span.
Exactly, they've lost ground because they lost a game. How dare you lose that game in regulation? Don't you realize that that's all Colorado has lost all season in regulation is the one time.
How big for Dallas, being just behind them, not picking up 2 wins against a Rangers team that is struggling, especially at home, losing 3-2 to the Rangers last night. That point could bite them later on down the road. You don't think about it now, but the way Colorado's going, you need every point you can get all the time just to stay pace.
Exactly. You need to stay in the zip code.
Yeah.
You've got to stay either that or you just kind of, well, you know what? Okay, we're not winning the Central this year. Let's focus on those wild cards. Focus on the wild card.
Yeah, all 3 of those teams are extremely strong right now and making a serious push. Top 3 teams in the league, in my opinion.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit then, and let's go and talk about that. Talk about that Minnesota team, because the Wild, as you brought up, have been on a heater. Just the one regulation loss in the last few weeks with them, and they have found for themselves a goalie all of a sudden here. All of a sudden here in Minnesota, Jesper Wallstedt,
the Wall of St. Paul, right?
I like it. I like the nickname. I mean, hockey, you get all kind of great nicknames anyway for players. It's just part of what it is. But the Wall of St. Paul, I love that.
Oh man, and he is standing tall too. Incredible. He just picked up his 4th shutout of the season already, which is just incredible.
Bizarre. Originally a draft pick of the Edmonton Oilers. Sorry, Edmonton fans. Gosh, do you think Edmonton would like to have him back?
Absolutely.
10 games this season, making his NHL debut this season. Let's dive into some of the numbers here. NHL.com put together NHL Edge put together a nice little line here. 10 starts. Record of 8-0-2.
Yeah.
So no regulation losses and 18 out of 20 possible points. Yeah. You'll take that. His goals against average 1.74.
Mm-hmm.
Tops in the NHL. Now I'm going to hold off. I'm going to reserve judgment on that simply because the sample size is so small. Only 10 starts. But you keep
that's
that pace
incredible right now.
That's an amazing 10 starts.
Yeah.
Save percentage 944. 944. Tops in the NHL for a minimum 7 starts. Tops in the NHL. He already has 5 shutouts already. Half of his starts have been shutouts. He is the second fastest
to
reach
5.
That.
That's incredible.
Do you know who the fastest was?
You know what? I heard it this morning on my way into work. I was listening to NHL Network, and I don't remember who it was. I think he played for the Bruins.
He played for the Bruins. He played for the Bruins almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, the name just slipped my head there.
1938, Frank Brimsek.
Yeah, good old Frank. Frank the Tank is what they called him back then, right?
Frank Brimsek. They don't have. Oh, I'm sorry. He did it in 9 games back in 1938.
9.
So only one off the pace.
There was only 4 teams in the league back then, I think, too, probably.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you were seeing everybody all the time. Here are some guys that he did it way significantly faster for. I'm gonna give you 3 names. Yeah. Tell me how quickly you think these guys got to 5
shutout. Okay.
Yeah. Dominic Hasek.
Oh gosh. Well, he started with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he didn't have many shutouts there. Probably 75 games.
You are darn close. 73.
Okay.
73.
Dang.
Martin Brodeur.
My favorite of all time.
Hasek was the fastest of the 3 names I'm going to give you. Hasek was the fastest.
I want to say Brodeur is probably about 120.
He was better than that. He was under 100.
Okay.
You want to give it one more guess? Or you want to give me the number? Brodeur did it in 80 starts.
80. Okay.
And then Patrick Waugh.
92.
132.
Okay. 132. Or you can do it in what?
Or you can do it in 10. Or apparently you just do it in 10.
Frank Brimsek. All right. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Frank's record, but man, what Wallstedt is doing is in combination with everything else that is going right with Minnesota, especially after getting a huge member of that team, a leader as well, and that's Matt Zuccarello. Getting him back really has bolstered this run that, they went the month of November going 11-1-2, which is insane. And we say they lose ground to Colorado in that time. So,
yeah.
But Matt Boldy's having a fantastic season. We're seeing Kaprizov not having to rely upon him as much. He has been injured here and there as well. So he needs to stay healthy, and Minnesota can really, I think, make a run. Ryan Hartman, and they've got those guys on the back end, Zeev Buyam and, Jared Spurgeon. They've got a really good core, and now they've got the goalie, and now, like you said, Edmonton, geez Louise, Edmonton prospect, and Edmonton would sell the Flames if they could to bring in a goalie of that caliber right now.
No kidding. They drafted Wallstedt in 2021.
Yeah, geez.
And traded him to Minnesota. I had the trade up earlier. Let me Wallstedt Edmonton, Minnesota trade. Let me remind myself of what the trade originally was.
Yeah.
Originally, my wife is the printers. All of a sudden I heard the printer behind me go off, and I was, what is happening? My wife is obviously printing something.
They're being possessed.
Something's trying to get me. Something's coming after me. Let's see. So the trade, so what happened was Edmonton traded down with Wallstedt on the clock.
Okay.
And they got Minnesota's first rounder, which they used to select Xavier Burgo, whom they have since dealt away. And they got a 3rd round pick, which they used on Luka Munzenberger, who has not played for the organization. And
No,
Wallstedt
name doesn't ring a bell. Yeah.
And instead, Wallstedt becomes Minnesota Wild goalie, and he's now
maybe the biggest
goalie.
You could have hit gold when you got Connor McDavid, but you would have struck plutonium or whatever the highest rare mineral is. If you drafted that goalie and he did that right now for that franchise, they would have a cup by now if they had reliable goaltending. Let's just And then Wallstedt shuts the Oilers out last night 1-0 as well. So that's what you get for not choosing me.
That's what you get. Some other just crazy numbers here for Wallstedt, and then we'll move on with the NHL a little bit here. So we talked about his overall save percentage. His 5-on-5, two numbers for 5-on-5. His overall 5-on-5, his save percentage is .959.
Wow.
So, you know, he's giving up. If you're scoring on him, it's on a power play.
Yep.
And then his 5-on-save in close situations. Game is tied in the first or second, or within a goal in the third period. He's at .970. 970.
97 out of 100. He would be making a save in a high scoring area, is what you're saying?
No, when the game is tight,
or when it's tight,
when it's a tight game. His locations are even. They've got his locations too. Those are some bizarre too. He has yet to give up a goal in a long range shot. He's faced 81 of them, has stopped all 81. He leads the league in save percentage against mid range and long range shots combined, 972. Okay. And he has a greater than 900 save percentage in 9 of his 10 starts this season. He ranks second in save percentage against opponents' shots on goal attempted off the cycle, which are known as offensive zone save percentage. Yeah. Basically, he's just, if you're not on the power play, you're not scoring on him. That's what the simplest way it comes down is if it's not a power play, good luck.
The only
stat is stopping it.
The only stat he really isn't leading in right now is goals saved above expected. He's only at a 10, and Logan Thompson is at an 18 right now. So I don't know if that's a stat you want to be the top of or not, but it doesn't make any sense. This guy is incredible, and Minnesota is doing fantastic right now. I like to see that. You know, Colorado. Let's put the chase on Colorado, and then if Colorado stumbles, then Dallas and Minnesota are right there. If they can continue, they can scoop up those pieces and go as they make a little ground.
Now, I will say this is a little bit like a hot hitter as we see Glenn Ritter. It is a great time to be a Wild fan right now.
Oh,
absolutely. I will say this can be a little bit like when you call up a young hot hitting prospect in baseball, and all of a sudden he just starts lighting the league up right out of the gate.
Right. Yeah.
The more tape that's out there, the more opportunity that there is for the league to spot areas where they can attack you. It will be interesting to see where it goes from here, but still a fantastic start to what is certainly appearing to be a promising NHL career for Jesper Wallstedt.
And no knock on Philip Gustafsson either. He's still playing really good as of late as well. Mm-hmm. Both those goalies the last month and a half have been outstanding. That's why Minnesota has, made up so much ground.
Absolutely. Well, let's real quick. Let's dive through the rest of your power rankings here this week in the NHL, and then we'll take for ourselves a quick break, and we got to get around more of the hockey world too. We've got some non-NHL.
You gotta lead in with some Daft Punk when you bring up that one, around the world, right?
ooh, if only copyright weren't an issue. There's always that. But let's dive into some more with your power rankings here.
Yeah, definitely.
We talked about number one. We talked about the Colorado Avalanche. You've talked about Dallas at number 2 for you right now. Jason Robertson has been on a heater. His goal streak snapped, but still having a remarkable season. Talked about them a little bit. Carolina Hurricanes coming in at number 3. Tampa Bay Lightning at number 4.
And those two teams really could be flip-flopping. And if you look, I didn't have a chance to share the power rankings I made last week, but there's a good amount of teams that were in that top 10 that are now out in just a week's time. But yeah, Carolina and Tampa Bay both really doing well. I kind of was edging towards Tampa Bay, maybe because they have a little less to work with their roster right now. They are suffering from a few injuries. So, but I still think Carolina as a whole is a better team, and that's why I have them just slightly ahead of Tampa Bay, but both playing fantastic in the East.
And then all the way up at number 5 now, the Anaheim Ducks. Couple of a nice comeback win against your Kings. Then they turned around and let a 3-goal lead slip away against the Blackhawks. But still, the Anaheim Ducks, what a terrific start they've still been having this season.
Yeah, fantastic. A big win. You know, not for my Kings. We blow a 2-goal lead late in the third period and end up losing in a shootout there. And that was huge because the Kings could have technically climbed into first place in the Pacific Division had they had won that game. And now Anaheim has gone on a little streak. They're playing Utah tonight, but they had that moment of weakness and they are back to doing what they do. They're bending, they're not breaking. They've had some challenges lately and they've overcome and they've beaten every good team in the league that they have faced. And now you see how, competitive that matchup was with Chicago. And then Chicago is going to be coming down to Anaheim at the end of the week. That's going to be another great game. But the Ducks are getting everything. Lucas Dostal, though, is suffering from an injury. So, they're going to have to rely upon Mrazek. And I don't know if he's the one. Let's see who's starting. No, Billy Husso's starting tonight. So
yeah, Mrazek got hurt against the Blackhawks, unfortunately. So they are hurting in the net a little bit.
So yeah, it is Billy Husso going to be taking the reins now for a period of time. So they're still getting that awesome stuff from the youth. Leo Carlson is making a strong case for the MVP of the Ducks so far at this point in the season, almost 30 games in. They're all doing fantastic. And I didn't think they were going to be that high. I think last week I had them a little lower, and I'm surprised at what I'm seeing from them. They are overcoming, late game deficits as we've seen, and they know how to stomp on the throat when they have a lead.
They do. Coming in at number 6 on your top 10 this week in the power rankings, the Minnesota Wild. We talked about them quite a bit there, but a terrific November, 11-1-2 in the month of November. Number 7, they lost tonight, so we might be seeing a slip from these
they
guys.
could drop the Devils.
The New Jersey Devils at number 7. Then they're going to be playing here a little bit later tonight. The Washington Capitals at number 8. Number 9, the Detroit Red Wings, Patrick Kane, coming up on the U.S. all-time points leader there, the Detroit Red Wings, number 9. And then rounding out your top 10, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They've got a new goalie in net, made his NHL debut. Carter Hart, part of that group from Canada that the less we say about them, the better, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his, but that's beyond the point. ESPN seemed to love it, and you're on it or you're not with the Carter Hart thing. But I'm not going to waste my time on him. No, and Vegas really wasn't on there until they beat your Blackhawks. I had the Blackhawks almost at number 10, and then that game, less than 3 minutes away from winning that, and then they lose it, and that fantastic shootout. I mean, that was one heck of a game.
The Blackhawks are so good at losing in overtime and shootouts. If it's not a regulation game, they do not win it.
At least their games are exciting. I am a fan of the most boringest, most disinterested, lack of offense, no identity right now. Los Angeles Kings, they're still hovering right there. They can go on a winning streak, but right now they are struggling scoring goals, so they're out of the top 10. I had them in there the last week as well. But
Well,
I mean, there's really good teams. You saw, Philadelphia winning tonight. They can jump into that top 10 right now. They're currently a wild card team with the Penguins. And last week I had thought the Islanders were one of the hottest teams in the league, and they're making their way through the Eastern Conference. And then they suffer a huge blow. Kyle Palmieri tearing his ACL. And man, that's going to be a big blow for the Islanders. But
that will
the
be.
Eastern Conference is separated by like 6 points from top to bottom.
It is wild, ridiculous, and crazy. Yeah, the East is separated by very little. The Metro is
Maybe it's the Metro.
crazy.
Yeah.
Is just crazy tight. Yeah,
Yeah.
your difference in the standings there in the Metro between like 1 and 6 is barely anything right now. As I pull it up to confirm. Yeah, you have Carolina with 34 points. The Rangers at 7 are at 30. The Blue Jackets in last place are 5 points behind the Hurricanes. That's the difference between first and second in the Central is 5 points. That's the entire division in the Metro.
It's really crazy. It's like being on that ride Tower of Terror when you're free falling and then you can bounce right back up and you're falling. It's like like the Richter scale in watching that division right now. With you could be at the top, or you could be in the middle, you could be out of a playoff picture at some point. I mean, it's so crazy.
Don't get comfortable where you are, because chances are you're going to be rearranged. That's
we're almost 30, almost 30 games into the season, and if you don't continue to play the pace of hockey where you're at, you can fall behind because everybody else is playing at like an elevated level this year. It's really crazy. And last night we had in the Western Conference, the two worst teams in the conference, Nashville and Calgary, playing each other. And you also had the two last place teams in the Eastern Conference, Florida and Toronto. Now those two teams are on two totally different levels, right? Toronto and Florida, cup contenders, but we're at the bottom of the division. And then Toronto wins last night, and they move up like 3 spots in the East now. So, man, every point is extremely valuable, and you don't want to be injured because injuries are going to start costing you. We're seeing them around the league right now. They're starting to add up.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to refocus onto Italy. Wonderful country, wonderful food, wonderful culture and atmosphere. May not be a great place to be playing hockey here in about 2 months, and we will explain why next. This is the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back after this. Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Freddie back with you here. So let's dive in after a ton of NHL talk there at the top of the show. Let's dive in a little bit here and talk some Olympics. We've got the Olympic Games set to start here in just about 2 months. The opening ceremony
64 days.
64 days. We've got February 6th is the opening ceremony. The actual first game, the women's tournament has its first game actually the night before the opening ceremony on February 5th. However, the hockey arena, which is being built for these Olympics, for the Milan Cortina Games, isn't finished yet, isn't ready yet. And according to the IOC, there is no plan B for if this stadium isn't ready in time.
Adam, not only is it not ready in time, but it was also not made to the proper specifications. The rink is actually going to be smaller than an NHL rink. And usually international rinks are quite large and they are bigger than an NHL rink. And this is actually going to be smaller by 4 feet from an NHL rink. And, Team Canada assistant coach Peter DeBoer was like, I don't understand how that happens. The NHL rink is 200 by 85. And this one is going to be,
it's going to be
a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's going to be 196 and change long and just a shade over 85 feet wide.
Yeah,
the bizarre thing with all this is the NHL and the NHL players agreement in their last round of bargaining, when they were doing their collective bargaining, they worked it in that the players could participate in the Olympics because they hadn't participated since 2014 in Sochi.
Yes.
It was under the condition that the rink be made to NHL size.
Right.
And that other conditions would be standard to the NHL, that the NHL could look at it and say, yes, everything is being made to our specifications and to our standard. Ergo, we will allow the players to participate in this. Everybody knew what the rules were and what the expectations were. Yet they're immediately, the first time out, the IOC has screwed it up.
I don't understand how that happens.
Apparently I saw earlier tonight, the locker rooms apparently just flat out aren't going to be ready, that there are going to be trailers outside the stadium that the teams can use to serve as locker rooms. Both Team USA and Team Canada have said, we'll just use the Olympic Village and we'll get ready there and then bus over and just come in our gear and be ready.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And to think, Adam, I mean, I wish they would have been the international size rinks because we already knew how tight the games were going to be by watching the Four Nations on NHL rinks. And those games were extremely tight compared to normal international games. And now you're going to be on even a smaller rink, and it's going to be way too tight. The neutral zone shrinks by 2 feet on either side. Bill Guerin can't understand this as well. These guys, this is the ample amount of time to get this right, and it's just I really hope it doesn't fail.
What's just bizarre to me with all this, I mean, in many Olympic years, you've already had some events happen to be teasers, to be warm-ups, to be dry runs, if you will, that, okay, does the ice actually hold up for an entire game? Do we have the concession situation figured out? Can people get to their seats easily? All these little things that you don't even think about. We're 2 months out. They have said they're at least a month away before they can even think about having a dry run game here at this stadium.
I don't know. I really don't want to, cuss on this show, but it's actually going to be a shit show now. It is. I'm sorry, but to put it bluntly, I don't know. And it's a shame because this has been such a fantastic NHL season. The Four Nations has led us up to what an awesome tournament just with those four nations were. But then to have the NHL back in the Olympics, it's where it needs to be. The international game has gotten so good. With Czechia, Russia's not in it, but some of these, Belarus and countries like that have made strides. Germany bringing in guys like Leon Draisaitl out of there.
Germany had an incredible.
Yeah, I want to see all of that. I want them to get this thing resolved, hopefully by January 1st, right?
The hope is that they can have an exhibition game on January 9th is the hope that they can do that. They've got about a month. They've got to finish this out. Now, to the NHL's credit, they did when they did their International Global Series here about a week and a half ago. That was played in a non-NHL sized rink.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing like you brought up. They just shrunk the neutral zone by a little bit on both sides to make it a little so that the offensive zone would stay the same size.
We'll go to 4-on-4 at that point.
But it's definitely a concern. You brought up earlier, and I want to pay off the tease a little bit. You brought up Team Canada, and you were asking about Macklin Celebrini versus Connor Bedard. What to be done there? I'll give you two.
Okay.
Do you want what I hope they do, or do you want what I think they will do? Which do you want first?
Well, I don't know. I want to hear what you hope they do, because it's probably what I hope they do as well.
I want both of them on the team.
Yes.
They are two of the brightest young stars in the game.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
they would be the future of Team Canada. Obviously, McDavid's not going anywhere, but still to be able to pair him with two young phenoms, Team Canada's already one of the best in international hockey. It's USA versus Team Canada, but anything that they can do to just boost it a little bit. What I think will happen, what I expect is going to happen, is that Macklin will be in and Bedard will be left out. We have seen the last couple of times with Team Canada, with the Four Nations tournament, Bedard was left off the roster last year for it.
Yeah.
And in international play the time before that, Bedard was kept off of the roster then as well. The last time Bedard participated with the international team, it was at World Juniors.
So you think that if it comes down to the two and Celebrini is selected, that it's his lack of international game play and experience?
I think
that's terrible if that's what it is,
I think that what they've shown you with Team Canada is they're okay keeping Bedard off the roster for now.
No, don't do that. I would get a guy like Mark Stone off the roster. I would rather see one of those two guys, both of those guys on that roster. Mark Scheifele, does he belong on that roster? Does John Tavares belong on that roster? There's the centers are so deep. If maybe a wing spot becomes available, maybe somebody can slide over to an off wing instead of playing center, because down the middle, Team Canada is so strong. You already have Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon. Where do they play? You're going to have to play centers on the off wings. And I don't know if Canada wants to do that, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. They're both so deserving. So before the season started, I would have said, no, I don't think they're quite ready to be on an Olympic team. They have blown my mind with what they are both doing with their respective teams. Not only are they tops of their teams as far as points go, but their teams are also extremely competitive now. They've flipped 360 degrees, and these guys are motivated, and I would want a hungry young guy like that fighting for my country and playing on Team Canada. I think it would be great.
They're relevant. That's the easiest way to put it, is the Sharks and the Blackhawks have become relevant in the conversation, which they're there in large part because of these two guys. Not to take anything away from any of the other guys on either of those rosters, but let's face it, those are the faces of those franchises.
In such a short amount of time, in 19 and 20 years old, respectively.
Yeah, I mean, we talked at the top how Macklin Celebrini is looking like he is on pace for 121 points this season. That's as a 19-year-old. That's just frankly shouldn't be legal. That just shouldn't be allowed. That a 19-year-old can have that good of a season in the NHL. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, Doug Armstrong has got his hands full right now, and there's going to be convincing arguments on multiple parties' side. Do they want to go with the veterans? Do they want to go with the youth? So we'll wait and see. It's not a bad thing to have your country's talent so heavy right now that you want these guys, and they could be 4 more years from now, they will be leading these teams if they don't play right now.
This would be the kind of situation where if this was an NHL team, you would absolutely be looking to trade guys so that you could get capital or other assets or plug holes elsewhere. But you can't do that in international hockey.
No, it's you can't build your ultimate Madden team. Just pick every superstar from every team. I don't know. They're so deep. It's a good problem to have. I think with the way the league is going right now and how exciting this season has been, even from people that I've talked to that weren't hockey fans or NHL fans before, they've tuned into a few games. This year is extremely exciting. The growth is tremendous. I think having those two guys in the Olympics too is just going to gain that audience even more. I say you throw those superstars out there, let them shine.
It makes perfect sense to me. We will see what Team Canada does, and we will see. And we'll see what the IOC does about lighting a fire and getting this stadium built. Because right now they don't have anywhere to play.
Right. There's this, I heard something else. I'm sorry to go off on this, but this is about the Olympics and Team Canada and Team USA. There's a lot of talk about the goalies, like who's going to be the top 3 goalies. And I'm hearing today, and I wouldn't mind. And I kind of thought about this before, is like, I think Darcy Kemper should be the reserve, the 3rd goalie for Team Canada. And then for the US, and he's earned it, I would put Jonathan Quick as the 3rd reserve for Team USA. What do you think about that?
I don't dislike that. Quick has played international hockey before. You've got that veteran presence. You've got some leadership there. I know that he gets a bum rap. I still like Connor Hellebuck as my number 1. I know what happened in 4 Nations last year.
I mean, he's been hurt too. He's been hurt too. And that could be, I don't know. He's supposed to be back before then, right? For Winnipeg,
so,
but I don't know, man. Hellebuck is like, he can be so hot, but then so cold sometimes too. But they are going to ride with him. You have to.
But he's too, to me, he's just too. You've got to figure out how to just get that. Okay, when the stakes the highest, just give it that extra gear. But I still like him. That's still where I would go with.
Hey, you know what? You know, would make a great case would be not this year, but the way he's playing would get Spencer Knight in there in 4 years.
Ooh,
he's playing fantastic for your Blackhawks.
He is playing some darn good hockey. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely he is. But yeah, I would still Connor Hellebuck. You gotta get him healthy.
607. I love it.
You know, Jake Ottinger would also, that's also most years not a bad way to go, but you know, some up and down this year a little bit, but
yeah, it's heating up though. But let's want to get into the PWHL now.
Yes, let's transition a little bit. Let's talk some PWHL as they have gotten their season underway. We do have a final from Boston tonight. I'm gonna make sure that I have it correct too. That I'm not talking incorrectly here of what the final was in Boston, as the Sirens.
I think I have it up.
Underway. The Fleet did indeed shut out the Vancouver Golden Knights 2-0 tonight. So Boston remains perfect on the season. 3 games, 3 regulation wins. Because a quick reminder, in PWHL scoring, an overtime win is not as good as a regulation win. They do the 3-2-1-0 format for points. So yeah, that's what some people are calling for in the NHL.
Yeah, I've been calling for that for a long time, man. That's the way that there's so many overtime and shootout games now too, that well, let's bring that back up after we talk about this. I do want to bring that up real quick.
Yep, absolutely. We can talk about that. So obviously very early on in the season, nobody's played more than, this was Vancouver's 4th game tonight. Nobody else has more than 3. Yeah. We've currently got from 1 through 8, Boston sitting at a perfect 9 points in 3 games. Then the Minnesota Frost, the reigning Walter Cup champions, 3 games played. They've got 6 points. 2 regulation wins, 1 regulation loss. The New York Sirens, also 6 points, 2 regulation wins, 1 regulation loss. They're getting ready to take on the Seattle Torrent for their 4th game of the season. Montreal in 2 games, 3 total points, 1 regulation win and a regulation loss. The Toronto Scepters. Yeah, I always forget their nickname for whatever reason. The Scepters, 2 games. They've got 3 points, 1 regulation win, 1 regulation loss. The Ottawa Charge in 3 games, just 3 points, 1 win, 2 regulation losses. Rough start so far for Ottawa. The defending the runners up from a season ago. Then you got Vancouver, just 2 points in 4 games now. They've got an overtime win and then 3 regulation losses. And then Seattle, just 1 point in 2 games, an overtime loss on their ledger. And then they had their home opener where they were shut out against Minnesota 3-0 early on. Seattle looking for its first win of any kind in franchise history as they get ready to take on New York tonight. Seattle, in its home opener last week, the Torrent did set a record for attendance in their home opener. Now, have to preface this a little bit. It was a record attendance for a U.S. based home women's hockey game. So not a neutral.
Give it up. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
But yeah, they had over 16,000 in attendance there at Climate Pledge Arena.
You know what? I want to ask B Mad Dog what the crowd was like at the game he went to tonight. He was there in Boston watching that game.
Yes.
I want to get, we'll talk to him later on, have him chime in and tell us his feedback about how his experience was. But that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to tune in. This game starts at 7:00 with the other two in Anaheim and San Jose in the NHL right now. So I might put my screen on a three-way screen, and so I can watch all three games at once.
Well, I tell you what, Hillary Knight, one of the premier players in women's hockey, is playing there for Seattle. So you definitely got good things to watch there as the Torrent try to get their first win in franchise history. But a good start to the year in the PWHL. Boston, the early edge as they get their 9th point already with the 2-0 win tonight against Vancouver.
Yeah, hey, let's give props. We talked about Jesper Wallstead leading the NHL in like every goalie stat right now, but Erin Frankel on the Boston Fleet just picked up her 3rd win of the season, and she has 2 shutouts. You want to know her goals against average?
Fire
0.33. So she's only given up 1 goal over the 3 games with a 986 save percentage. So she right now is besting Jesper Wallstead over in the men's league.
You'll win a lot of games with a 0.33 goals against average. You'll win a lot of hockey games that way.
Sure will. That's fantastic. I'm gonna have to tune into a Boston game and watch that.
Absolutely. But yeah, Erin Frankel, excellent start to her season.
Yeah.
Boston was in the championship series 2 years ago and lost to Minnesota. Boston's got championship pedigree there. They've got good players there. They've got overall real good talent. Megan Keller, one of the captains there, excellent player there with Boston. The goals tonight, the 2 goals tonight for Boston, you had Abby Newhook got her 2nd on the season, and then Jill Saulnier got her 1st one of the season. That was the insurance goal for Boston. So Abby Newhook got the game winner there for Boston overall on the season. So some good stuff there. There's also with the PWHL there, of course, there's always talk of expansion with them. It's sounding like the PWHL may be looking at expanding to 4 new teams next year. Part of that is due to this incoming draft class is going to be super deep. So having 4 extra rosters to fill can help take advantage of what looks like could be a really deep draft class this upcoming season. So we could be seeing 4 new teams next year. So keep an eye on the takeover tours. We're going to be taking part in one of the takeover stops here later this month. We're going to be going to the game in Chicago to see the Minnesota Frost play. That's going to be
great for you and the family to go see that. That's fantastic.
My daughter doesn't know yet. She's gonna absolutely lose her mind when we tell
awesome.
her. She's gonna go.
I love those moments.
So
I love those moments.
So that'll be exciting and good. But yeah, New York and Seattle just getting underway. The Sirens actually just scored, so we just had a goal. Peyton Levis got her 2nd of the season already. So it looks like it was not on the power play. It was just off the power play. Emily Brown wound up in the penalty box for Seattle almost literally when the game started. 15 seconds into the game, Emily Brown got an interference penalty and had to go to the box.
Wow.
But it looks like they did kill off the penalty because Peyton Levis scored at the 3:16 mark.
Okay. Well, good. Wow. So, all right. A lot of action in that one.
Yeah. Very early in that one. Yeah. Already.
Is fighting allowed in that league?
You don't necessarily. It is allowed. I have to rethink what I was about to say there. It is allowed. It is rare. We had a doozy of a fight last season, but it is very, very uncommon. There is, you can check into the boards. It is more physical than say the international game where there's no fighting. And even in the women's game, there's straight up no checking. In the PWHL, there is checking. So
the physicality is a little higher than it would be normally. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
you
good,
you don't have the fighting though as much. It
Yeah.
can happen, but
you don't
rare.
see it much in the league here as well anymore either. That's kind of certain teams will have a few fighters, but a lot of the time you'll never see a fight. Used to go to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Right.
That's how it used to be.
Yeah, the old joke there, but it's not nearly that prevalent anymore.
No, my dad used to love going to games, Kings games when he was a kid. He would go to the Forum, and then, the Flyers would come into town, and he was a big Flyer fan as well. And like Dave, the Hammer Schultz and these guys, they would just be fighting all the time. He's like, there was only guys on the team that, played like 0 minutes, but they were there just to fight and stuff like that. So,
they'd
the
be
league
there
was a lot different.
Yes, your fourth line enforcers.
That's all they were.
Yeah, very much a thing. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Well, that is gonna about do it for our show here this evening. Can you believe it? It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Hey, did you see the breaking news? I think the NHL and it was Grubhub just came down to a huge agreement in which they will provide every NHL player's food during the regular season. We just had a second accident.
Ooh.
No, I just made that up. Wouldn't that be awesome though? We had our second freak accident of the year, a burning accident, right?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you heard about it or not. Yeah. So we had, Lou Ryan.
We had the barbecue incident 2 weeks ago.
Yes. I don't know if this was a barbecue incident. They still haven't said. Just know that it was a home accident, and he said he was just going to leave it at that. When St. Louis, Alexei Toropchenko suffered leg injuries. Jim Montgomery, he did not say anything. I don't think anybody knows right now the extent of the burn or, how it happened, but 2 burn accidents and cutting your hand on a glass at a dinner table, 3 major accidents already this season. So,
all centered around food.
Right. So I made the whole Grubhub thing up. That would be kind of funny though, right? Like that's a great partnership. Hey, let's strike a deal and we'll start advertising like that.
They need
come on. Just send me, some royalties for that.
We joked a couple episodes ago about how they're going to be, you're only allowed to eat in the cafeteria and it's mac and cheese and dino nuggets all around. That's all anybody's allowed.
Yes, it's exactly what we said.
They're getting closer to that. It's going to be, do you have to chew it? No, I'm sorry. You're allowed a pure liquid diet. Is all you're allowed.
Let's just not go like the Jason Pierre-Paul way and you start blowing yourself up with firecrackers and stuff like that. Let's just keep it in the kitchen for now, boys.
No kidding. No kidding. Absolutely.
A lot of injuries, that's the season is acting up.
It is. Well, that is going to do it for our show here tonight. Thank you again to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Go to planetjerky.net to place your orders. They are still offering free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. Thank you also to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com, use the promo code IESR and you get 15% off of your order from there. Thank you also to Larry B, the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, for allowing us to do this show. Thank you to Glenn Ritter for hanging out in the chat room with us. Thank you to everybody that watched the show tonight across YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And thank you to everybody that catches the show afterwards as a podcast. We do appreciate it. We do this crazy thing every Wednesday. Well, we try to hit it every Wednesday. Sometimes life happens at the last second, and we roll with those things as they go. But we do this little thing called the Neutral Zone every Wednesday night. We go around the hockey world. Whatever is utmost on our minds, we talk about. Whatever is utmost on your minds, you let us know about in the comments, and we try to work that in too. for IE Sports Radio. He is Freddie B. I am Adam Karnik. We will see you guys next week. Have an awesome week. Be safe. Be healthy. Cheer on your favorite hockey team wherever they are. I'm hoping the Blackhawks will figure out a way.
He's got to beat the
Get that
Hawks.
second point. Get that second point somehow. It doesn't have to be a loss every time you go to overtime, boys. Until next week, we will see you next time. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.